corners of the world direct their prayers towards the old city of Jerusalem. In the center of Jerusalem's old city is the Western Wall, the Kotel HaMa'aravi, which is the only remnant of the glorious ancient temple still standing today. The Shekhinah, the divine presence, never left the Kotel HaMa'aravi, the Western Wall. Amid the wall's worn stones, the whispered prayers, Jews find spiritual connection, not only with each other, but with generations past. From the most learned Talmud scholar to the most secular Jew, from Ashkenazi to Sephardi to unaffiliated, from soldiers on active duty to plain-clothed civilians, tourists, people throughout all walks of life. When you stand in front of the Kotel HaMa'aravi, when you stand in front of the Western Wall, all divisions dissolve. Because the Kotel HaMa'aravi, the Western Wall, is awesome and holy energy. For 1,900 years, Jews were barred. They were not allowed access to this most sacred, holy site, except on very rare occasions. In fact, the White Plaza that welcomed guests and pilgrims was built over homes, leaving only a small alleyway where the wall could be accessed, seen, and felt. This all changed in 1967, 57 years ago, when during the Six-Day War, Israel miraculously defeated the combined forces of Egypt, Jordan, Syrian armies. They wanted to annihilate the Jews, throw the Jews into the sea. And miraculously, the old city was returned for the very first time in 2,000 years, 2 millennia. The Kotel was now open for people to pray freely and proudly again. Perhaps never since the giving of the Torah, 3,300 years ago, were the Jewish people so united. The Jews who were persecuted in Russia, they had a sense of pride because finally this wall was given back to the Jewish people. Who did this? How did it happen? Let me tell you about my friend, my hero, Abe Halon. He was born in 1946 in Hadera, which was soon to become Israel. He was known as Abraham. I called him Reb Avram. He was amongst the courageous pioneers who grew up in the new state of Israel. As a young soldier, he served in the IDF. He became the 66th Battalion, the platoon that famously recaptured Jerusalem under the renowned General Uzi Narkis. Abe's heroic participation in the reunification of Jerusalem is likely the most significant Jewish historical event in the past 2,000 years. Combined with his warm, gentle demeanor and humble smile is absolutely astonishing. Who would know that Abe Halon, when you spoke to him, you were speaking literally to a hero? Who would know? He was a fixture at the Lori Shamsin Chabad Center, where he would join us every single week for Shabbat. his talents and his time with the Columbus Jewish community. He was beloved by the campers of Camp Gan Israel, who looked forward to his art class, where he taught them realistic portrait drawing. He volunteered every Sunday. He taught Hebrew, the Aleph base, the Hebrew alphabet, to kids who didn't know Hebrew. Here you have a hero. Here you have a warrior from the Jewish people who never cared about himself, who sat down with a child struggling to learn Hebrew and gave from the essence of his being with the same fortitude, with the same passion as when 57 years ago he recaptured our Western Wall, our old city. Abe, we love you. You share the same name as our original patriarch, Abraham, Avraham Avinu. There are many parallels between our Abe and our biblical patriarch, Avraham. Abraham was the one who was willing to give everything up on Mount Moriah to do the Akedah. This is the same location that our Abe Halon, 3,700 years later, risked his life to recapture the Western Wall. It is no coincidence that Abe took part in an event of such magnitude. There is a concept in Judaism called Hashgacha Pratit, divine providence. And this means that everything happens for a purpose. The Baal Shem Tov, the founder of the Hasidic movement, believed and taught that every atom, every gust of wind, every falling leaf are guided by God's hand. So too are the events that occur in history. Abe's remarkable wartime story is one of the clearest examples of Hashgacha Pratis, of divine providence. His paratrooper unit was originally stationed in the Sinai Peninsula, but it was diverted to Jerusalem. And they were given the orders unexpectedly to retake the city of Jerusalem. As Abe marched in to the old city, he had a 19-year-old soldier who was assigned to defend him. The commander was killed. Abe was a sergeant, and he became the high-ranking officer, the sergeant, who redeemed the Western Wall and the old city. The 19-year-old sniper was shot in his head. He died in front of Abe, and Abe kept on marching in. Nothing, absolutely nothing could stop him. Abe told me that he has no idea why his life was spared, but he used all his courage, all his strength to recapture the holy site of the Western Wall. The Lubavitcher Rebbe writes very clearly in Likutei Sichos, Chelik Yudalit, page 428, that every single soldier in the Israeli army is a tzaddik gomer, is a complete righteous individual. Every single soldier, our brave troops of the IDF, are all righteous because they put their lives in line to protect the men, the women, and the children of Israel. The Talmud states in Sanhedrin that good things come into this world from good people, meaning that if something good happens, it must have come from a very special soul. Indeed, our beloved, our cherished Abe Halon, his soul was handpicked from the thousands of years of Jewish history to redeem this great unifying treasure of the Jewish people. When Abe got sick, I came to visit him, and I told him how much we love him. He had mentioned to me that he walked right past the Western Wall without recognizing it. It was an unassuming wall behind a row of houses. Only later, his commanding officer told him that they had passed the historical Kotel HaMaravi Western Wall, just like the Kotel. People could not appreciate its greatness. So too, when you met Abe, you wouldn't know of what a great giant he is. He was so unassuming, so pure, so real. Following the Army service, Abe studied electrical engineering at The Ohio State University. And he worked in the field of information technology, becoming a leader in IT organizational management and process efficiency optimization. He wrote 2 books. One was titled Performance Based on Accountability and Cost Allocation Analysis. And this is, if you go to LinkedIn, this is what one of his colleagues writes. Abe's knowledge on unit costing and showing what an IT organization costs to run is beyond anything that has come up in the industry. I have no idea what any of that means. But believe you me, Abe was exceedingly brilliant, resourceful, and smart. My daughter, with everyone here who knew him, loves him, absolutely loves him. My daughter was crushed. And here you have a man who cared about her. Here you have a man who took time to speak to her, to teach her Hebrew. A giant, the man responsible for the Kotel HaMaravi, every single Jew that goes to pray at the Kotel. This is brought to you by Abe Halon. We believe in the chaos theory. What's that? A butterfly can flap its wings in Hawaii and can cause a tsunami in Japan. So too, every act we do of goodness and kindness has far-reaching implications. Most of the people today do not know Abe's name, but indeed, we, the Jewish people, will forever be indebted to this great tzaddik, to this great, holy, righteous individual. He was a man who, despite his great accomplishments, selflessly and humbly devoted himself to anyone in need. I remain moved by his courage, his kindness, his generosity, his love for life, his love for Israel, his love for the Jewish people, his love for what's right in this world. This is how we will remember my hero, my friend, everyone's hero, the great Abe Halon. At this time, we lower the casket, the O-ring,